Hello. A very good morning, very good afternoon, very good evening, wherever you are. My name's Liam Lonsdale. I will be taking care of proceedings today. I'm going to give a minute or so for people to join, and also for our guest today, Nicholas Milburn, to join. So let's just hang on there, and we're looking forward to chatting to Nicholas very soon. Let's see if we can find him. Hello, everybody. While we wait for Nicholas, I would love to hear where folks are tuning in from. Drop me a note in the comments. Where are you tuning in from? Love to hear from folks today. Yo, Nicholas, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm just going to turn my volume down here. And we're just going to give like a minute for folks to join and tune in.
Cool.
And then we will get started. Dude, it looks like a beautiful day.
It's really, really nice. It's kind of like ridiculous, perfect, like being outside weather. I don't know if there's
Love that.
sun and grass and green stuff. Way more green stuff than normal right now in Colorado.
Perfect.
Or at least the Front Range. So
Amazing.
it's fun.
Yeah, it looks perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and for joining. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Drop it in the comments. We will be taking questions for Nicholas today. We have had a bunch of questions submitted in the stories. What an attractive guest. Look at that. People already starting with those. With those.
Drexel knows what to say.
Yeah, we had a load of questions come in on the stories, which I've got queued up. We'll do those later. But if you do have a question for Nicholas today, drop it in the comments. You can drop it in the question box, whatever that feels good. Remember, you can hit that like button to share this broadcast with folks that you might think enjoy it. Why is your shirt on? I'm guessing they're talking to you and not me.
Some minor professionalism, just the bare minimum here.
The bare minimum's all we ask for.
Yes.
That's really all we ask for. So let's get this thing going. My name is, of course, Liam Lonsdale, and I'll be your host today, and I'll be interviewing Nicholas. And it's for the first time ever we have a Kaya Collective member on an IG Live, and I'm so stoked that it's you to kick us off. Thank you so much to everybody for joining. As I already said, pictures? I just read the word pictures. Questions, get them in that question box.
No.
We'd love to hear from you. Uh-oh. Did I lose you, Nicholas? That we lost him temporarily. Is he still there? There he is. He's
Better.
good.
Okay. I changed my internet there, so we should be good now.
Oh, yeah. Cool. No worries. So, indeed, just to quickly introduce you, and then I'm going to let you do it. But for people that don't know Nicholas, Nicholas Milburn is a lifelong understated crusher. 2 V15s under his belt, 2 514Ds, and for all you Euros and non-American graders, that's 9A under his belt, including the very iconic and somewhat beautiful Dreamcatcher. He knows a thing or two about hard climbing. One of the things that I like most about Nicholas is whenever he comes up in conversation with other pro climbers, there is a unanimous, he's just the nicest guy. So I'd like to give a very warm welcome to Kaya Collective member Nicholas Milburn. Nicholas, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been historically really bad at interviewing, so mild nervous in this, but it's fun. I'm excited.
The bare minimum of professionalism is all we strive for. And this isn't an interview. This is a chat. This is a lovely
chat. I do better at chats.
Exactly. That's why I think about it like a chat. Don't think about it like an interview. So I gave a brief introduction for folks that might not know you, but I would love to know how you would describe yourself.
Well, that's a wickedly hard thing to do. There's I'm a whole person. There's so much of me.
All day.
Yeah, I got a lot of interests, climbing. That's why I'm here right now. But I really like cooking, baking, nature things. I like fantasy, mildly nerdy. Lord of the Rings is really cool if anyone cares. I really like scarves, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. Oh God, so good. Like fashion, not that I indulge in that very often. what else do I like? Or what do I do? Who am I? I don't know. Talkative. I like people, making connections. I'm surprisingly shy, I think, which comes across maybe sometimes as me being like arrogant or like full of myself, but actually I'm like, oh my God, I can't like bother people. So yeah, I don't know. There's like, I don't know, complex like everyone else.
For sure. One of the things that, when we first chatted that I learned about you is that you've been climbing pretty much your whole life. Pretty much since you could walk, you've been climbing.
Yeah. I love when I get that question. People are like, oh, how long have you climbed? And I'm like, 26 years. And they're like, whoa, how old are you? 26. So my first trip ever was a road trip with my family, and we ended up in Rifle, Colorado. Not that I remember this, but I was 6 months old. Bobby Binsman held me as a wee lad. So that's my claim to fame. I got stronger through her.
Love that.
So yeah, I've just always been at the crag eating dirt. And then my parents like put me in competitions when I was 5 years old. So I've been competing almost every single year since I was 5. Last year was the first year I didn't compete. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of experience for a not very old person.
For sure. Do you think there was a transition for you from when you were just climbing to when you became like an athletic performance?
There's probably like a bunch of transitions, it's like not like one moment I was like, all right, now I'm an athlete, it's like a slow continuum of things. So I don't really remember this, but my parents tell me when I was 9, I started getting like independently psyched. And I kind of remember like as a kid, my parents would be like, let's go to the gym. Be like, no, I want to go play in the sandbox. And then I'd go to the gym and I'd have fun. And I guess maybe like when I was around 9-ish, I would start being like, all right, the gym, like, yeah, let's go. And also when I was 9, when it was the first year I qualified for nationals, it was, I don't know what it was called then, USA Climbing Sport Nationals, I don't even know, in Oregon, I think. And like, I started getting psyched, and I remember as like, I don't know, I grew up in Louisiana, or I was born in Louisiana, so I had no rocks anywhere, so like competitions were my main focus. So I remember first being like, I want to get all the colored ribbons, because I'd always get the purple one, which is participation for the people who don't do very well. So I get something. I was like, I want all the colors. That's my goal. And then one day I learned the blue one was the best. And I don't even know why. I was like, I want the blue one. I want first place. But I didn't know it was like, you won. I think I just like associated it with better for some reason. And then, I learned more, and then I started going to nationals and competing. And I was like, all right, I want to get the blue ribbon at nationals, and slowly progress. But then, as I got older, a really good friend of mine once told me, like, you need to train like an athlete. And at the time I was like, that's kind of mean. And then I was like, you know what, you're right, I do need to train like an athlete. So I met Christian Core at a competition in Squamish once, and he like worked with me and gave me some plans, and it was maybe the first time ever I had trained so like structured, which is not really my jam for the most part, but there was a lot of benefit, and I definitely got better, and there's been like moments where I've like improved as an athlete, so I don't know, not one moment, there are a bunch of moments, bunch of defining moments.
Interesting. Super interesting. It's, to think about competing at the age of 5, and then, you competed every year since, so 21 or 20, because you didn't compete last year, 20 years of competition. How was it to not compete? Did it feel like a massive void?
I was kind of in a transitional, actually, well, there's a lot there, I guess, but whenever climbing got in the Olympics, I was never like that gung-ho about it, and then climbing made the Olympics, and it felt like things kind of changed, and I was like, I'm not really feeling psyched, like I don't feel like I want to go to the Olympics, like it feels like somebody else's dream, not my dream.
Right.
And I don't really want to devote myself to that. And I was like, I don't know, what am I doing? It's like, these are expensive, and I can't keep paying to go to all these comps. So I was like, I'm not that psyched. I'm just not going to go. And then I watched a tiny bit of the live stream for that ABS Nationals, and I was like, I don't care at all. Like, I have no interest in being there. And it was kind of nice. I was like, yeah, I'll take a break. And then, so it was like totally fine. I just didn't want to, so I didn't, and I felt happy. And that was a nice thing. And then now I still like competitions in general. It's not like I hate them. And now I'm getting actually kind of the bug again. I'm like, ooh, maybe there'll be something around the corner. Like, that would be nice to try my hand at it again. Not that I've taken that much time off. But.
Yeah. Nice to be able to kind of be true to yourself in that way. And, I know a lot of folks that compete because they feel like they have to, or, you know, it's kind of
Yeah.
something that they're in a habit of doing, and they, you know, you can see that people don't enjoy it anymore. It's nice that you are able to kind of have that truth and like be honest with yourself and not do it.
Yeah, it's definitely like a little hard in the moment to make the decision. I was like, man, this will be weird. Like, hey, be sad to ruin my streak. But then I like decided not to go, and then I felt happy with my decision. And if I felt sad about my decision, then I could just go next year. Well,
Sure.
except there was a pandemic, so it didn't actually happen. But, you know, disregarding that.
Did you watch the World Cups this past weekend and the weekend before?
I did. Some friends of mine threw like a World Cup viewing party, so we climbed on his home wall and watched the World Cup. And then I got pretty excited.
What was your
It was
take?
nice watching. Like, oh man, that's a really deep conversation there talking about World Cups.
You can just the TLDR. Don't worry, we only had like 30 minutes.
It was really fun. I enjoyed watching it, and I especially liked watching Brooke and Natalia. That was like really the main reason I was watching. It was really cool to watch them like they both podiumed in 2 World Cups, and that's like a really, really cool thing. It's neat to see them like really coming into their competition zone. So that was the highlight, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, agreed. What an amazing result for the US. Back-to-back weekends, 4 medals from 2 5 medals rather. From
5,
2 comps.
yeah. Sean Bailey killed it too. That was exciting. I've known Sean for a long time too, so it's really neat to see him like pushing himself.
Yeah, really cool. Really, really cool. Okay, back to the chat. Yeah. This is what happens. Alex Lowe famously said, the best climber is the one having the most fun. Do you have a philosophy around climbing and what it means to you?
So whenever I mentioned before that I've historically been really bad at interviews, my prime example, actually, I don't even know how old I was, probably in like Youth D Sport Nationals. So maybe I was like 11, I don't know, 10, 9, who knows. But they interviewed all the like finalists, I think. Yeah. Can't remember because it's so long ago. And one of the interview questions, they asked me a bunch of questions, and they were like, oh, like, why do you compete? Like, what drives you? Why do you climb? What are your reasons? Just like a one-line. I was like, it's fun. And that was it. And I was like, God, I don't know how to answer these things. And like, I think about it from time to time. I'm like, you know what? I still think that's my primary answer. I could like be more poetic about it, but really it's because it's fun. Like, I like going out. I like climbing. I like making friends. And we have shared interests. There's a cool added benefit of fitness, but I'm not doing it for fitness. I'm not like doing it to get better, but it's fun to try to get better while having fun. Like the continuous challenge, no matter how good you are, it's hard. If you're bad, it's hard. If you're really good, it's hard. So there's like always this challenge to progress. That makes it fun. You see really cool, beautiful landscapes. Traveling's great. Lots of cool worldly experiences. A bunch of, I don't know. It's fun. I do it because it's fun. If you're not having fun, then what are you doing?
It all seems very fair. The philosophy is somewhat similar. Yeah, aren't we so flipping lucky? I've always thought that, like, you know, I have friends that are into all sorts of different sports that, you know, see insides of arenas or, you know, courts or, you know, whatever. And they're the same wherever they go. You know, they see so little of where they are. You know, they travel across the world to go indoors and do a thing. Or, you know, track athletes that, you know, go across the world to go and run around the track. It's exactly the same as the one that they've been training on. And like, we have this incredible, even as comp climbers, like incredible opportunity to be in these amazing, unique places, like experiencing the world in a completely different way. I feel like climbers are some of the luckiest folks around for sure. Yeah.
And then another thing that I think, I mean, probably there are other ways to engage in this, but like whenever you go on a climbing trip, you're not just like there climbing on rocks and you leave. You're not like, especially if you can go on a long climbing trip, you're like really immersing yourself in the like culture of the area, and you're immersing yourself in like a small part of the culture that is like the climbing culture pretty much. Sure. But like, you're like, oh, this is how people live in the area. Like, I don't know, I went to like Sayus once and lived in this woman's house, and like, she was really, really pleasant. She had like a garden. She'd like give us jam. We'd like compost in her bin. There's cows running around. We go to all the neighboring farms to like buy groceries or like cheese. Goat cheese, excellent from Sayus, if anyone hasn't had that. But like, I don't know, you're just like in a town for like a month if you can go on a trip for a month, and you're just like oh, there's all these cool local things. Like, I would never come to this tiny town and like go buy groceries from a farm if I
Right.
wasn't doing this. And it's like a really, really special thing to connect with like a land like that or an
Yeah,
area,
I know.
a
And
community.
having spent some time in Sayus, I know exactly what you mean, and it kind of makes me think like quite a lot of the areas that we climb. I guess by nature of the fact that they're out in the middle of nowhere, tend to have to be like locally sourced stuff. Like it's not like you're staying at some big hotel in like a big city, but for a few
Yeah.
exceptions. Like you are out there. Like Fontainebleau is another great example. There's the odd big supermarket, and if you get a craving, you can probably get some fast food. But ultimately, like you're going downtown to Barbizon or whatever, and like drinking coffee in a little cafe with the locals. Like it
Yeah.
is
It's really nice.
it is very cool like that. It's getting me psyched for some traveling.
Soon, hopefully.
Yeah, right. Um,
Ugh.
Talking about hard climbing, you're no stranger to it. You've climbed some really, really hard stuff. How do you go about selecting projects and climbs that are,
Mm,
at your limit?
yeah, this is like, or this general concept is something I like discussing a lot. I feel like there's like a whole bunch of ways to do it that are suiting. Sometimes people pick things because it's a big number. Sometimes because it's like famous. Sometimes because, I don't know, it's convenient or whatever. There's like the idea of like, what makes an objectively good rock climb? And people have these metrics like obvious start, singular line, the rock's good quality, a good height. And I kind of think all of that's like not important, right? They're all like missing the whole point. Like, there's the more important thing, which is totally not objective, because I think trying to objectify boulders is not that important. It's super subjective. Like, is it fun? Like, do you like climbing on it? Do you like it for some reason? Sure, all right, then go do that. Like, what? So why do I choose a rock climb? Like, I want to enjoy the climbing, and there's some things that I tend to like. I like it when a boulder's like a little bit tall, not like mega high ball maybe, but like maybe I have an ideal. My style of climbing, or the style of climbing that I enjoy the most, is like really body oriented. Like, it's not really about one specific thing. Like, it's not crimping. It's not just about being powerful or pinching. It's like a blend of things. Like, how do you move your hips? How does it feel? Is it like really interesting, unique movement? I would like the rock to be as good as possible, but if it's like fun climbing and the rock's kind of shitty, that's cool too. So yeah, I don't know, like a cool obvious start hold's neat, but like if there's not one and it's a cool rock climb, otherwise I'm not gonna like say it's a bad rock climb. So I don't know, like whenever I put star ratings on things, maybe I think like, it could have had a cool start hold, maybe I'll put it down a little bit, but really like I've had fun. I've had incredible fun on like dirty little low balls that people don't even look at, and like I really value those moments. So yeah, whenever I'm picking something really hard, I want it to be fun because I'm going to spend a lot of time on it, and that's the major thing.
Love that. Such a
Yeah, there's
holistic way
probably
to look at it.
probably could like talk more about other things, but yeah.
So, like, let's go into a specific. Someone just said dirty little low ball. Love that.
Dirty
I
little
like,
low ball.
you know, for me, I remember like I was relatively early in my climbing when the video of Chris Sharma sending Dreamcatcher came out,
Mm,
and I
yeah.
remember like just seeing that and being like, the angles, the shapes, like talk us through that particular climb, like, and the fun experience of that. Like, I like it's a if I was a fanboy of a climb, like Dreamcatcher is one of the climbs that I would fanboy for sure. And I'm like, I just want to know all about it. Like, obviously not all, but summarize. Like, talk about Dreamcatcher, just for me more than anything. Indulge me.
So I actually remember watching the video of Sharma doing it for the first time, and I don't actually know where I was, but it's story. I'll just tell a story, whether it's totally
Good.
factual or not. That's not important. I was in Louisiana by climbing the Rock House, which actually, no, it's a different owner now. Southern Stone? I don't know. I can't remember the name. They got new owners. They're great. But anyway, I was at the gym in Louisiana, and it was like they had a TV where they played climbing videos, kind of more old school vibe. And I was like, oh my God, like that's mind blowing. Like he's going sideways. Like the fall looks horrifying. And I was like, God, that looks so crazy. I can't imagine doing something like that. And then in my head, I remember, like when I think back, I remember thinking that was Jumbo Love for some reason. I don't really know why. And then like fast forward a long time in 2013, I took a road trip from like, I ended up going from like Miami to Squamish. And then we ended up in Squamish, and I was like, oh my God, Dreamcatcher. Like, I'm totally getting on that. And I got on it, and I could not aid climb to the chains. I like couldn't do the slab, but you can like reach all the draw. There's like perma-draw. And I couldn't I grabbed perma-draws. I was like, I can't do any of these moves. I'll just keep grabbing the draws. And then there's like the hard pin scar section, which is like I could almost not reach the like good hold. And then I finally got it and clipped. And then I could not get from the like the crux draw that you skip to the jug at all. Like I just wasn't capable of. So I did like maybe 2 moves on the whole route. And then I was like, oh, damn, I want to get to the top. I always joke that step 1 of hard projecting is get to the chains at all costs, no matter what. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't get to the chains at all costs. Oh, my God.
Have a drink. And then he called it good and he said he'd done it.
And then I did it. I got too excited.
Okay.
So that happened. Wow.
He couldn't get to the top. This is what happened. Hey, while you're taking this pause, remember you can hit that like button, hit that love heart button. That'll make sure that more people get to watch this wonderful video of Nicholas coughing. Okay, how are you feeling? Are we good? No?
Okay, so that was kind of epic. It was like a funny thing. And then the next year, or another year, I went back and I was there with some friends, Ken Hughes and Sean Bailey. And we were like, let's go try Dreamcatcher. It'll be great. And we were like not strong enough at the time. And so Sean Bailey went up first. And he's like playing on the moves. He wasn't even very far yet. And I remember Ethan Pringle and Mike Foley rolled up. And I didn't know them at the time. And then like they rolled up with a crew, like 30 people. One guy like wrapped over a boulder to like get video, and he like kind of fell. Like it was a little scary. We're like, oh my God. We're like, wow, it was really peaceful and quiet. Now we're freaking out. And then Sean Bailey was like, I'll just come down. So he like lowered, and then they were like, can we go? And we're like, sure, I guess. Like we were here first, but like this is, I don't want to like make everyone wait for 6 hours while I epic up the route. And they like had it super dialed. I think Mike Foley went first, and I like hadn't ever seen anyone move like that. Like on the slab, the way his body moved, like he just had the slab dialed, and it was epic, and he didn't look like he was ever tired. Got to the last crux and fell, and I was like, wow, that was really cool to watch. Like that was amazing. And then Ethan went, and he hadn't worked it as much, but he's like, I don't know, he's Ethan Pringle. So he like got to the end too. And I was like, that was crazy. Like, I can't do any of these moves. And they just, like, both back-to-back got to the end. And I didn't really know quite yet, like, how hard the end was. And then everybody, like, packed up and left. And then I think we chatted with, like, Ethan and Mike a little bit. And they seemed, like, super friendly. And then they, like, went on their way. And then it was dead silent again. We're like, that was really weird. And then I can come back to that moment. It was, like, years later, I talked about it with Ethan and Mike. And it was kind of funny. But so, yeah, tried it again. I did a couple more moves, maybe did like 5 moves. I don't know, like nothing. And then some years later, 2016 maybe, I went to Squamish. I was like, all right, I'm going to Squamish to do Dreamcatcher. And I got there, spent 7.5 weeks or something like that. And I only tried Dreamcatcher. Like every day I would try it, like I'd warm up, try it twice, and like leave. I did take rest days. But it took me forever, like maybe 5 days to like do the slab, and then like just super slow progress, figuring out all the subtlety, like minor beta changes, learning the moves. And I don't know, I think maybe like the last day I like stuck the match in the end. So I had like 2 really hard moves. Like I wasn't really that close. It looks like you're close distance wise, but like not really. And I was like, oh, I was so close. Like I'm finally making progress. And then I like left. And then the next weekend I flew back to Squamish to try it again. And it was like not even close. I regressed. And I was like, well, that was annoying. I was like, but I was psyched. So whatever. It was fun. And then, so yeah, I was just like, I don't know, 7 weeks of projecting a singular thing's not unheard of, but it's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, but it was fun. And then I went back another year, and my mom with my family, and my mom ended up breaking her ankle in a climbing gym in Squamish. 'Cause it was raining, so like, let's go to the climbing gym. And she broke her ankle. It was gnarly. And then we left. We were just like, oh, just like, this is not how the trip was supposed to go. So I like didn't try it. God, it was kind of crazy. She like chest bumped to hold and fell funny. Yeah, real bummer. Don't do that. But anyway, and then God, there's so many trips I went to Squamish for Dreamcatcher. And then I went back another year, and I was like, all right, this, like, I'm stronger, feeling fit, I'm going to go, like, open-ended trip. And I got there, and I got on Dreamcatcher, like, maybe day 1 or day 2 or something, and I was like, wow, I really don't want to try this. Like, no psych. It was just, like, felt like work. I was like, I don't want to work. I want to, like, climb. I want to have fun. So I didn't try it. And my girlfriend at the time was like, what? Like, are you sure? Like, you're here. Like, I think I just want to boulder. Like, I want to do something. Like, I don't know. I've spent a lot of my time in Squamish on this route, but there's, like, a lot of other Squamish. So I didn't. I just bouldered for 2 weeks, and it was great, and I was had fun. And then towards the end, I was like, oh, I'm kind of getting, like, psyched. Maybe I'll go try it again. And I tried it, and it felt really good. Like, I adjusted to Squamish a little bit, the rock type, the way it feels. And I was like, okay, like, now I'm psyched. But then I was there by myself. I was like, I got to, like, get belays. I don't want to, like, walk through the boulder field with a harness. I'm, like, scared to ask a random person to belay me because there is decking potential. And it, like, I don't know, made me nervous. But then some friends showed up. Keenan Takahashi, actually. I tried it a bit with him. And he was psyched. Keenan's super psyched in general. If you don't know him, he's, like, a pleasure to climb with. And then, so we were trying it and, like, sussing beta, and I was making, like, really good links. And Keenan was like, damn, like, I think you can do this. And then Jimmy Webb showed up, and he was psyched on Dreamcatcher. And so we climbed on it for, like, a little bit together. And my last day was, I don't know, it was like 90-something degrees. It was awful conditions. And I fell, so the crux, you, like, pinch, crimp, thingy, match, Gaston, bump to a jug, you're done. So I, like, matched, hit the Gaston, and just slowly fell out. And I couldn't control it. And I was like, all I had to do was bump to a jug, which is a really big, all I had to do. It was a very significant move. But I was like, man, like, it's the end of my trip. Like, I have to leave. Like, school's starting. Like, maybe I could stay another day. But I don't know if that's worth. Like, I need a rest day. It's ridiculously hot. So I ended up leaving. And it was just kind of a bummer to leave on such a high note. You're like, man, if I could just stay longer, I would for sure do it. But I had other stuff to do, so I couldn't stay. But also, there's this side bonus here that, like, leaving something unfinished is, at least for me, incredibly motivating. Because if I did it, I'd be like, I'm accomplished. And you go home and you do whatever. But I was like, I'm not accomplished. I need to get better. So I was ridiculously excited to, like, go home and train. And I wanted to remember that feeling. I want to, like, capture that feeling somehow. So I got a little piece of paper and wrote on it, like, remember how bad you want it. And I just stuck it in my wallet. And I don't even look, it's still there. I don't even look at it. I just, like, think it's like, oh, it's there. I do want it. I do really want it. Remember that. So, like, yeah, that was very helpful. A little side bonus of not sending. And then the next year, I remembered I wanted it. So I trained really, really hard with Paul Corsero in Chattanooga, excellent trainer. And I just got generally physically fit, and I climbed a lot. It was like an unsustainable amount of climbing, but it was just for, like, a small period. And then I went to Squamish in 2019, and the first day on the route, it was the only time I'd ever shown up to a sport climbing trip and, like, felt fit. Really quickly, I linked, like, within a couple days, I linked from the top of the slab to the chains. Like, I did 95% of Dreamcatcher, and I was like, I've never done that before. That felt great. And then the same day, I linked from the slab, from the bottom, from the start, to, like, I don't know, a couple moves from the finish maybe. And I was like, wow, I had 2 of the biggest overlapping sections possible. And I was incredibly motivated. And then Matty Hong showed up, and he taught me some advanced sport climbing techniques.
Yeah.
They're very top secret. Not very many people know about these. You sit around and you hold your hands up, and you're like, is it windy? Nah, okay, I'm going to not climb today. You just don't climb. You sit around and you wait. And you're like, are the conditions good? They could be better. And then you just wait. So I just kind of, like, spent a few days like, how's it feeling? Not not that good. I'll like save my energy. And then I saved it for one day, and then I like did it, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is amazing. Yeah,
So
I've
good.
definitely never been more excited to do a rock climb in my life. I kind of hope I'm never that excited again. It was like a lot of emotional stress there. I've never cried from doing a rock climb. I like cried from sending a rock climb.
Wow.
Yeah, I like got to the top, and it's like peaceful. You untie, throw the rope down. You're like, oh, I'm on top of a thing, which is a really great way to finish something. And then like down climbed the tree and like got to everybody, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like surprisingly emotional. So yeah, that was a really,
man. 6 years.
yeah. 2013 to 2019. So yeah,
It's incredible.
yeah, a lot of my soul went into that route.
Yeah, that's amazing. What a story. And this was the crux.
Yeah, like how is it? It's okay. I'll try today.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. From the very real and very tangible story to the more conceptual. The year is 2031. What has changed in climbing?
What would change in 10 years? I feel like it'll just slowly, I don't know, 10 years ago, climbing was like more grungy. The climbing gyms were dirtier, more like old school boxing arenas type thing, kind of dusty. You know, you're like, this isn't a nice environment. Families can't come here. And now there's like a lot of beautiful, high quality, like upscale climbing gyms. They're like good for anyone. Like they're just really beautiful things. And so way more people have access to climbing. People who don't want to be like a dirt bag will become like professionals. People who have like jobs and family stuff can go to the gym, and that's like climbing. I don't know, climbing in a gym's climbing. So they can like be climbers without epicking across the world. And it'll probably just be more of that. Like there'll still be the dirt bags hanging out in Indian Creek for 3 months, but also there'll just be like a broader audience of people that are considered climbers. It'll be like more inclusive as a whole.
3 Olympics under our belts by then.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. More people will know about it. There'll be more like money for athletes and gyms and
10 years ago, the hardest grade will have been V15. Or maybe even 8B plus.
Mm-hmm.
10 years from now, you know, considering we've had 8C, 8C plus, or V15,
it's kind of crazy.
V16, V17.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there'll be more hard things. Maybe there won't be like more, like maybe there won't be a V18, but maybe like V16/V17, maybe there'll be like an established grade.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, they're like a couple proposed things in those grades. And like,
sure.
Are they not? I don't know. Nobody knows. They're just like, maybe it's hard. And they're definitely hard. No doubt about that.
Yeah,
but like,
right.
Is it V15 or 16 or 17? Like, I don't know, the two people who gave their opinions, not like consensus. So there'll be like more people doing that, I bet.
Yeah.
When that'll be neat. I mean, there's a lot more now than there used to be 10 years ago.
It's incredible.
People are strong.
People are really strong. Okay, I want to give some time to the questions that came in from Instagram. I know a lot of people submitted some questions. I picked out the best ones and some of the funnier ones. Okay, first one is food. Favorite crag snack?
I really like food, and I don't eat normal snacks. So, like, I don't know. I made some, like, homemade bolognese once and, like, take that to the crag. Maybe one of the more ridiculous things I made while climbing was, like, some friends and I made a lemon meringue tart. We, like, made crust and cooked it in a fire, made lemon curd, and then we, like, hand whipped up some meringue, and, like, I carry a blowtorch, and
goodness.
We toasted the meringue, so that was pretty great. What else are the weirdest things?
This is like
cherries. I really like
food.
I really like cherries. Those are pretty great. I don't know. Yeah, I bring like proper real food, something you'd like sit down with your family and eat more often, and never bars. They're
Sign
sad.
me up for the next Nicholas Milburn climbing trip. I want a piece of that. It's funny because different person asked favorite Sen snack. You have like a
favorite Sen
celebratory
snack. Oh man, I'm not one to like withhold food from myself, so I celebrate most every day with like ice cream or something. But I'll pick something I particularly like. Mead poached pears with shortbread and maybe some like chantilly cream in like
Who
a
are you?
wonderful arrangement.
Oh my
So good.
goodness. Wow.
Oh, somebody said, actually, this is a more reasonable crack snack. I forgot. Sardines. Those are great.
Oh, dude, sardines on a rice cracker.
Sardines. So good.
It's
Got to
like
put them in a
Sierrano
Tupperware though,
2019.
because they get oily, so you got to make sure it's sealed when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Okay, how much, let me read this correctly. How much did the gyms in which you started climbing influence your crushing?
Hugely so. I think the simplest answer is a lot. But the more like in-depth answer, or the way I think the most, how do I phrase this? The most positive thing, the most influential thing I think is like the community I grew up with.
Yeah.
It was I was in more of my like adult growing up, I guess, was in Texas. And it was just a group of people who climbed because they wanted to, because they liked it. They were trying to get strong as possible, but they weren't like, too caught up in like, I'm going to be the best. So they were just climbing to have fun. So I was climbing to have fun. And it was, I don't know, they were really supportive, and we were all had shared interest in climbing. I don't know. Yeah. Community. The community of the gym, I think, is the most important thing
For sure.
in general.
Love that. Okay, sticking with Instagram submitted questions. Can you offer any tips to work through doubt, fear, or self-limiting beliefs? Wow.
Yeah, that's a super long question, and I like talking about this stuff. Like, there's a bunch there. One of which I see that people have a hard time with is like how well they're climbing, how well they perceive they're climbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sucky today, like I'm doing shitty, and they're just like, oh, I'm not as valuable as a person. And you can like watch it sometimes. You can like see it. It's really obvious, and it's really hard to watch that. Because sure, like, of course, not every day you're going to be like crushing and sending the gnar or like feeling strong. But on the days you're not, it's not like a waste of time. You can go out, you're in a cool place, you're having fun. If you're trying to send your project but you're not, you can still learn moves. So, I don't know, trying not to hold too much value of like intrinsic or assigning intrinsic value to yourself through your performance. Push yourself, but don't be sad when it's not. If you're not psyched, that's okay. Like, psych ebbs and flows. It's supposed to. It's like never constant for anyone. So like, let it, try to identify your feelings, where they're coming from, and accept them. And if you want to improve in something, like, you can kind of strive for change if you're looking for that, but like, don't be upset if it doesn't happen overnight. And with the like assigning intrinsic value, I think, or assigning your self-worth to how your performance is, like, grades can get in the way of that a lot. Like, I'll see people who are like, ooh, V8, I don't climb V8, I'm not going to try that. And you're like, well, sure, but like V8 can range from like V6 to V10, really, realistically. So like, it might be too hard for you at this moment, but like, you could also try. And if it's like epic, you're like, oh, that was great. I like flailed on a V8. I can't do V8. That was great. It was fun. Like, super no expectations. And then I think like a really nice way to summarize this, a good friend of mine said once, grade helps you find the challenge, but not how much work you'll have to put in. So like, I don't know, maybe you're a V6 climber. You're like decided for whatever reason you think you're a V6 climber. That's cool, but like, not all V6, unless you're like a perfectly well-rounded person, not all V6 is going to feel the same. Some V6s will feel easy. You're like, that's not V6, that's soft. And then there's another V6 that's like heinous. You're like, how is this V6? I'll never do that. The same thing can happen with any other grade. Like, be okay with that. It's a range, plus or minus 3. So yeah, don't worry too much about stuff like that. Like, try something too hard for you, epic on it. If you feel like trying it more, do. If you don't, then don't.
Love that. Yeah, I love that. What a nice way to summarize it. Help you find the challenge.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, next Instagram submitted question. When you are having a down day, what do you do to work through that? It's a deep one.
These are deep.
I don't know. I should have written the usernames of the people, or maybe they don't want to be called out, but I didn't think to do that. But yeah, that's the next question.
All right, down days. Yeah, definitely. There's definitely like some days. So there's a few ways to have down days. One of which maybe is like you're home and you're like, today I'm gonna go climbing. Like, I don't know, I have a training schedule. It says like it's Tuesday, today's training day, and you're like, man, I really don't want to go to the gym. Like maybe you're not psyched. Like, don't go to the gym. But whenever I'm feeling that way, I try to think like, you know what? Every time I go to the gym and I leave, I always feel better. Like I've been climbing a long time. I've had a lot of days where I'm not psyched, and I usually go to the gym and then I leave and I'm like, I feel better. Like, I'm glad I went to the gym. It's like uplifting exercise, it's like a really nice activity, endorphins and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's also important to climb in a way that's sustainable, right? So I feel like I've definitely known people who've like on this rigid climbing schedule, and that's not how I've ever operated, or maybe a tiny bit here and there. But if you don't want to identify why you don't want to climb, like, is it because you're on the super strict schedule that's like not very fun? If so, the schedule is not working. Like, if you're not psyched to train, even if you follow the schedule, you're probably not like putting your soul into it. You're not really trying as hard as possible. So like adjust. Maybe if you don't want to train, like go climb, like, which is also training. That's a really cool part about climbing. Like, go to the gym, boulder, go to the gym, sport climb, and just like do whatever you're psyched on. You see the cool white hole boulder and you're like, I don't know what's that. I don't know. I'm going to try it. It caught my eye for some reason. It's not part of the schedule, but like, it's more important to find a way to make climbing sustainable, consistent. Consistency is more important than doing it correctly, I think. Like finding the way to make it fun and the way that you want to do it. So yeah, that's an important one. Another aspect of a down day is maybe you were psyched and you went to your project and you tried it and you're like, I am terrible today. I can't hold on. I'm like weak and floppy and my abs don't work.
I can't even aid the thing.
I can't even aid the thing. It's ridiculous. So like that happens for sure. That happens to everyone. And it's super frustrating. And like, let yourself be frustrated, like, yeah, it's a frustrating thing. Like, be angry. Like, I don't know, kick your chalk bag. But after you kick your chalk bag, breathe, be like, okay, this happens, it's fine. I am not a bad person. I am not less valuable. Just in this moment, I'm really not feeling it. And then, like, try to come out of it. Like, be angry, but then move on and try to move on as fast as possible. Don't, like, dwell on it. Don't go home and hide in your room and sulk. Like, talk to somebody if that's important. Find a friend, chat about it, express your feelings. Not that that's easy to do, certainly. But, it's helpful. It's really nice. And, like, yeah, feel the feelings, but don't, like, hold on to them too hard.
Love that. Okay. There are a couple more Instagram submitted questions. What do you feel is the most beneficial thing you have done to train and progress?
Most beneficial thing I've ever done to train and progress. Unfortunately, training with Christian Core is really helpful because it ruins my... It's really great, but like it did show a lot of progress. Going to the Finns last year for 6 weeks was incredible. I got so much better at standing. I'm like, I've never been as good of a stander. Maybe one day I can be like a Paige Klassen level stander. Probably not. But so, okay, more vaguely. Those are really specific moments where I noticed changes in my climbing. But some of that was like doing something different, broadening, diversifying the way I'm climbing, like going to different areas, learning the style, and being okay with the style. I like steep limestone. Everyone's like, this is great and fun. The Finns is like dead vertical, pocketed, mega technical stuff. And like a lot of people nowadays are like, that's dumb. It's not about it. Like, what? That's not cool. There is a lot to learn. It's like just saying you just like stand more on your feet. I don't know. That's a big just. It's not a simple thing.
Try it.
Yeah, so like, yeah, trying a bunch of different things and playing. That's a useful training tip, I think. Remembering to play.
Yeah.
That's a great way to learn. Like, try different things, experiment around, and always remembering that there's another way to do it, and you don't have to do it the other way, but like, oh, what's that like? Give it a whirl. So open to stuff, learning how body movements. I'm really big into body movement more than anything else. And yeah, do a bunch of stuff.
Love it. The most beneficial thing, do a bunch of stuff.
Do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. Okay,
Yeah.
next one. Pardon me. What kind of workouts do you focus on?
I don't actually. It's
Great.
great. So I've taught one clinic in my life, and I really enjoyed it. I hope the people who took it liked it. It was titled something like "Training for Climbing by Climbing." So I go to the gym and climb, right? You just climb, but you can climb in a way being a slightly more mindful about it, where you're like thinking about what you're doing. Maybe you don't just go to the gym and climb a boulder, sit down and chat with your friends all day. Maybe you're like a little more focused, but still climbing. So try stuff. Maybe you go to the vert wall and you grab a bunch of crimps or something. And you're like, cool. All right, now I just grabbed a bunch of crimps on a vert wall. Now I'm going to go like grab pinches on the steep, right? They're pretty different muscles. And if you bounce around to different styles like that, you could be surprised by how long of a session you can have. Because if you only stay, there's a new set on the 45 and you just hang out on the 45 all day, you're working some group of muscles more exclusively. Then you can go to a slab and like work a wildly different set of muscles and feel kind of fresh. You're like, oh, I feel good actually. I'm not that tired. And then you can go back to the 45 and feel good. You're like, I just climbed another hour over here, but like now I feel fine because you're doing different stuff. And maybe if you just start doing that one day, you won't feel so fine. But you know, maintaining this kind of high volume, bouncing around, doing different stuff is really helpful. And like think about what worked when I was climbing, what didn't work. Oh, I saw my friend like lock that off, and I like dynoed. What does it feel like to lock it off? So climbing really mindfully to try to understand how things are working. But since you're climbing, you're also getting stronger, but also assessing body movement. And then, so the other side of workouts like hangboard, lifting weights, doing core workout, that stuff's really important, unfortunately. But it's supplemental, I think. And it's important for supplemental stuff to be used as a supplement, not the primary thing, right?
Yeah, interesting.
If you want to increase training, I think that's fine and great. You know, make sure you do it in a good way, but don't don't take all your climbing time and put it into something else and expect to get better at climbing, because climbing's so much of a skill-based sport. You need to take the strength you have and apply it to the wall. And if you're only building strength, you never learn how to apply it. So yes, I do workouts that are more formal. I lift weights. I do core workouts. I don't hangboard almost ever, but like I'll campus sometimes. And those are really great and valuable things, but they're not the primary thing. And also people are different. So like find what works for you, but I think climbing's the best workout.
Awesome. Okay. There's two more. The first one is actually quite related to Kaya because, of course, we list your height, or everybody's height can be listed in Kaya, so you can see and compare your beta to people of a similar height. But the question is, how do you overcome height difficulties in climbing?
So,
how tall are you?
I'm 5'10" with a +2 ape. So
you're not a shorty.
No, I'm actually, often people think I'm taller than I am actually because I climb very extended. I'm very good at being extended. Maybe that's a strength even. So people often think I'm 6 foot. I usually get asked, like, they're like, oh, how tall are you? 6 foot? And I'd say 5'10". They're like, really? And technically I'm a little under 5'10". So yeah, but I climb with a lot of people, and a good friend of mine is very short. She's 5 foot, right? So I'm familiar with what it is like to be short. And I don't know, Alex Puccio's 5'2", I think, and she's like ridiculous. So it is, sure, there are times when it's really helpful to be tall, like no question. Like some boulders, some routes are going to be harder if you're short, but also some things are harder if you're tall. Sometimes you want to be small box, right? And it's like it's hard for me to be in the small box. I'm not very good at that. So if you're tall, it's really important to be mobile. If you're short, it's important to like learn how to be tall. But there's a lot more to it than that. Like try, if you're short, which is I feel like mostly where this question goes, like practice being extended, practice jumping. Like maybe you'll have to be stronger. Like sometimes you just have to be stronger to do it. But also learning how to deal with that is important. Like, is it a jump move, or can you like find different feet that people don't use? Maybe if you're not like an average height white dude, I don't know, you're going to have to maybe find a different way. That's fine. Maybe you're not going to do the standard beta, but if it's a rock, there's usually other stuff going on. There's some smears or something. So learning how to find beta that works for you, identify how you climb and do that. Maybe you do this crazy heel hook that like blows people's minds and it's just like how you climb. Try it, give it a whirl. And if you try it and it's awful, I don't know, you didn't really like lose anything. It's not like you sacrificed, you know, so be really playful and experimental with beta and try not to be discouraged. Like if you're like, I can't reach that, I can't do it. Like try like, oh, I can't reach that. Maybe there's a way I can reach it. There's plenty of moves where I'm like, oh, I wish I could reach that, but I can't. So how do I do it otherwise? And you figure it out, learn your body and climb for it, with it, climb with it. Yeah.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was make it work.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
Well, Jimmy Webb, make it work. Jimmy Webb once, I was climbing on a boulder and I think I said, oh, this is kind of awkward. And Jimmy Webb said, there are no awkward boulders, only awkward climbers. And I don't like 100% agree with that, but damn, it works a lot more than you think.
Yeah, right.
Like way more. You're like, you know what? I just got to learn how to climb like this. It's not like, oh, it's a rock. The rock's not awkward. I just don't know how to move on the rock. So, yeah, learn how to move on the rock.
I saved the final question of the Instagram submitted ones. I think this is my favorite one, and it's funny because it's been brought up a bunch of times in the comments. Where did your love of scarves come from?
Oh, man. Wow, where did it come from? I haven't been exploring this part of myself as much recently, but I like weird clothes. I used to have like really weird pants, and people like go to like high school and people are like, what are you wearing? It's ridiculous. And it's just like, scarves are that. They're kind of a little bit of that. They're like this cool square thing you throw around. It's like adds some good accessory flair to an outfit. It's great. But not only that, this is like the most beautiful blend of form and function in the world. It's like, it's perfect. They look cool. I like things that look cool, but also they're so functional. When it's cold outside and you wrap a scarf around your neck, you're like, oh, it's great. And then this is my summer scarf because I'm weird and have a summer scarf. It's really, really thin, so I can like wrap it around my head and protect me from sun. I don't know.
Is it a scarf or is it a pashmina? Really.
I don't know what a pashmina is.
Oh, we're into a whole other world.
Oh, no. Yeah, this one's like a big rectangle. I'm pretty sure it's a women's scarf. It's recycled pashmina. Plastic.
It sounds very
maybe it's a pashmina. I'm pretty sure this is for women, and it's great. I love it.
Says Nick is a scarf aficionado, one of those things we bond over. Love that. How many scarves do you think you have?
All but this scarf have been gifts, actually. So I have like 4 that I wear regularly, and they've all been gifts, and they're the greatest. One of my favorite. It's like maybe my favorite thing anybody's ever bought for me. It's just a big black rectangle with some simple designs. I think it's from Target. It's got little frills on the edge. It took me like a few days to. Target, sorry, very sophisticated. I didn't even know how to like put it on my body. I was like, I've always wanted one of these, but I don't know how to wear it. And I like finally figured it out. Oh, it's so great. When you're like cold, it's like a little blanket. You can like sleep on it. Yeah, it's my happy space.
I'm gonna have to find some.
Everyone should get a scarf. They're so good. Oh,
I love it. Okay, this is the last part of the interview and the chat, and this is called quickfire questions. You have to answer these.
I gotta sit up
quickly. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay.
Like we're not challenging you with a time, but just try and answer as like spontaneously as possible. Indoor or outdoor?
Right. Outdoor.
Sport or bouldering?
Why choose?
Knee pad or bare skin?
Knee pad. I like no bloody knees.
Oh, dude, I love raw dogging in the old knee bars. Get it right in there. Yeah, you can feel it all.
It's hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite climbing area?
Fontainebleau. Ooh, Sayus? I'll just France.
All the beta or on site?
On site. I really like figuring stuff out. Better yet, on-siting with a friend. Try it once. Talk about it.
You can't try it and on-site it. You have to send it.
Oh, right.
On-site
well, you
means
try to
bottom
send
to
it.
top, first go, no beta.
You try to on-site it, and then I
Yeah.
typically don't. So then I talk about it with friends.
And then
How
they
about
flash
that?
it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with on-site as the answer for that one. Most memorable send. I feel like I might already know the answer.
Dreamcatcher, for sure, not even really that close to anything else.
Favorite rock type?
Sandstone.
Pockets
So that's also not really a question.
or pinches?
Pinches. Weirdly hard on that one, though.
No, come on.
I know, it's hard.
Crimps,
You're picking really close things. It's a good
crimps
question.
or slopers?
That's not a question. It's slopers.
Oh, really? So you're a pinchy
It's not a
sloper
question.
kind of guy?
Crimping is by far my weakest character trait. Like, not like all of life, not just like climbing. It's character trait. Crimping, no good.
Solo
I'm getting
session?
better. I've gotten better.
Last one, solo session or crew mission?
Crew mission. I've done countless years of solo sessions, and I'm tired of sitting under a boulder by myself.
Love it. Love it. Okay, that here concludes our chat. Nicholas, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, folks at home, you can follow Nicholas in Kaya at Nikolai Milburn. All you have to do is download the app. You can upload your media, upload the beta. You can bring your own media in. Nicholas has got a bunch of videos and photos in there from all of his sends. Is the Dreamcatcher video in there?
No, I have like way more.
Uh-oh. It looks like Nicholas might have disappeared there, which is a apt timing. If he has disappeared and if he doesn't come back, then I will say this. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for joining us. It was a wonderful chat. What a wonderful human, eloquent, intelligent, insightful. That was truly a very lovely hour of discussion. I hope you folks enjoyed it at home. Do download Kaya. Do make sure you follow Nicholas. And in the meantime, we'll be back in a week's time with Albert Oak right here. You can check out kayaclimb.com for a full calendar of all the IG Live interviews. My name's Liam Lonsdale. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all on board. I shall see you in a week.